Welcome to the Phenomenal Podcast, an authentic forum where real conversations happen. I'm your host, Finn, and each episode features an unscripted chat with everyday people. Get ready for a genuine, raw discussion. Enjoy the conversation. What's going on, everyone? It is Finn. We're back with another episode of the Phenomenal Podcast. This is episode number 7, and I have Isaiah Connor from the Divot Dudes. Super special guest. You're the first person I've interviewed that I don't actually know in person. So we have met one time in person, but it was very brief. So this is exciting. This is big for the program.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah. Well, it's great to meet you down at the PGA show. I know we got to chat for a minute over there.
Yeah.
That was awesome to meet you in person. But
Dude,
glad to hang out,
such
man.
a cool event.
Oh yeah, that was my first year. I mean, had you been before?
No, that was my first time going too. So
Yeah, I mean, it was like if you love golf, that's like the spot. It's just a million different golf things to mess around with for hours. I mean, it was ideal.
It was like a carnival of golf for golf. It was cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I found Connor on YouTube through Divot Dudes, the Divot Dudes. That's the brand that you and your partner Adam have been building. One time I was scrolling YouTube late at night and getting deep into the golf scene like I have been, and I saw a video of yours that had like less than 1,000 views on it, and I was like, oh, cool. I'm going to start trying to support small creators.
So, let's go.
Yeah, so I clicked on your video. You guys, I liked your vibe, both of you. I think you were ranking like the top, YouTube golfers. I think that's the video I clicked on originally.
Okay, cool.
Cool. Then you are one of the people out there. You got your brand that you've built. It's got a pretty big following now, but you're one of the people that actually interacts with me and probably other people from the way that you do, which I appreciate. I think that's really cool. So,
yeah, man.
Why don't you jump in, give a little background about yourself other than that very brief background that I just gave.
Yeah, dude, totally. Yeah, I'm, Connor, and I grew up in Georgia is where I grew up. And you mentioned Divot Dudes, me and Adam, that really is pretty out of left field for something to be doing. It's really funny to see friends that I haven't seen in a minute's reaction when I tell them, yeah, I'm doing golf videos full time. They're like, golf videos? Like, what? Yeah. Where did that come from? Because my whole life I've been really into sports. Like I played football growing up, played basketball growing up. Really wanted to play basketball in college. Ended up in no schools that I loved really offered, and I kind of was in the boat of I had a bunch of friends go to smaller schools and try and play baseball or basketball or football and just get burnt out and quit after a year. And I was like, I don't want to do that. Like if I'm going to a school, I want to love the school and the sport. So I didn't have any schools that I really was like, no, I would love to be here even if it wasn't for basketball. None of those offered, but then Auburn gave me a spot for football. And that was, Auburn was my dream school for anything. I grew up a big Auburn fan. My parents both went there. My granddad went there. It was. I grew up, dreaming of being at Auburn in any capacity one day. And so when they gave me a spot for football, it was like I don't care who offers anywhere else. I want to get to Auburn.
Yeah.
So I went there for school, played football, and worked hard to get a spot on that team and. That was awesome. I'm sure we'll get into that, but got hurt. My brain started melting out of my ears a little bit, and they were like, doctor was like, look, I can't send you on a field again and call myself a doctor. And I was like, okay, that sucks. So I stopped, and kind of through all that, I had picked up music in high school some, and it was always a thing where it was like, people don't really do music as a career. That's like the Justin Biebers of the world that get lucky will make that happen, and didn't really ever consider that. I was like, I'm a finance and accounting major. I'm going to go be a financial advisor probably. Mm-hmm. And then after I got hurt in football, that happened. And then another kind of life change happened. And I was just like, what do I actually want to do in my life? And music was the only thing that really made sense at the time. And so I was just like, cool, I'll start pursuing music. That's what brought me to Nashville. Mm-hmm. After school, there were some different opportunities coming out of school. I had already released a couple songs,
Hmm.
um, and there was a label in Nashville and a management company in Nashville that kind of seemed to have some good conversation going. So I was like, I guess Nashville is the spot. So I moved here, and been here since then. COVID happened like a year later, and then I
Mm.
feel like since COVID, time has kind of skipped
Yeah.
almost. And but now, yeah. So been kind of just through that. We can get into more of how Divot Dudes came to be and what's going on with music and stuff. But that's kind of how I got to Nashville and started in music and
Yeah.
yeah. But that's kind of how that went.
Dude, yeah, you're so I think I told you one time that I was like, you're like one of the most well, maybe not best, but you're so well rounded in all the spheres of life that you're just almost like a Justin Timberlake. He just like all over the
Bro, let's
place.
go.
Yeah,
I'll
it's a
take
good
that.
compare. That's what I thought about this morning. I was like, Justin Timberlake, he does everything. So does Connor. So
Dude, I appreciate that. That's
yeah,
awesome.
I think you've also claimed to be the strongest YouTube golfer. Uh, and so
I think, yeah, and this is a bold statement, but and this isn't me being braggadocious. I think it probably my background comes into
yeah,
play. I
yeah,
would think I would be the strongest between PGA or YouTube golfers. I will
wow,
say though, we're filming with Evan Thompson next week, and I know he was a college linebacker as well,
yeah,
and he's a little bit younger than I am. So I'm curious. I'm sure me and him will chat about it just to see kind of where each of our lifts are at. But that was kind of my thing, even in college, like among the guys at Auburn, it was like even the dudes that were better and
yeah.
bigger than me. I was pretty dang strong, but
Have you
I don't know.
seen Have you seen Golf Gains Fitness? I think that's the account.
No.
Oh, oh, dude, you should check him out because he's
Golf Games Fitness.
yeah. I'll get it. I'll get it for you later. But he's a good account to follow. He just has a bunch of workouts that are for golfers, and that dude's
Dude,
big.
really cool.
He's a big
Yeah.
dude.
Oh, is
So
he?
yeah,
Dang. All right. Well, yeah. But I'm up for a challenge. Anybody wants a challenge, let's do it. I'd love to be put to shame on that. But yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, send me his page. I
I,
now that I'm more in the golf world, like I'm not lifting for football anymore. Oh, sorry, my ear
oh,
fell out. I'm not
you're good.
lifting for football anymore, but I started to notice I'm playing this much golf. I never thought that like golf would make my back this sore and like my hips
Right,
hurt. So I'm
right,
like, dang, maybe I do need to be lifting for golf. So I'm trying to get into
absolutely.
that more now for sure.
Yeah, he has a whole program dedicated to golf workouts, which is pretty cool. Um, but I want to touch more on football because that's super cool.
Yeah.
Playing Auburn's a big, and it's not just like I'm not going to throw Evan under the bus. You're hanging out with him next week, but Auburn's different than Kennesaw State, and I mean he bounced around. Um, but I mean Auburn's like an SEC D1 school, so did they give you a
Yeah.
scholarship or they just gave you a spot on the team?
Not out of the gate. Yeah. So they gave me a preferred walk on spot. And that's actually a crazy story too. I,
Yeah.
in high school, so I went to a smaller school, um, and it was kind of a situation where, if you're one of the better athletes in the school, like you got to play everything. So like I
Hmm.
played basketball, played golf in the spring, and played
Hmm.
football. And in football, I was starting at running back, linebacker, and kicker.
Oh
Um,
wow.
and so, I enjoyed the running back and linebacker more.
Hmm.
Um, and there were some offers from some smaller schools, places like Kennesaw that offered for running back or linebacker, and Auburn actually asked me to walk on as a kicker.
Okay.
Um, and then when I moved to Auburn, I was like, look, I got to get in-state tuition. I can't be paying out-of-state tuition like this. So I
Right.
worked for a year, gained about 30 pounds because I was like, look, if I want to do something other than kicker, like, what do I need to look like?
Hmm.
How's this need to go? Gained about 30, maybe even 40 pounds, got up to, 210, 220, and showed back up and was like, can I play linebacker instead? And they were like, well, you got to try out. And I was like,
Hmm.
cool, let's run it. And I tried out for the team with, all the other people. I mean, there's probably 200 people at the walk on tryout. Tried out as a linebacker and made it. So
Wow.
did that, came in as a linebacker when they had originally recruited me as a kicker. And then my playing time really just came from kickoff and punt block.
Uh,
I was still undersized, even I was undersized by 20 pounds from um, our starting interior linebackers,
mhm,
but yeah, it was a different level. That was the thing is like I at that small school where I was able to play every position, and you would play like if you were playing a team and they had a guy on their team that was like, yo, this is a top 50 recruit, you knew it,
mhm,
right? Like
right.
that guy was on the field and he stood out, right? But then
Yeah.
at Auburn, you get there and every single player is that guy and
Right.
better, and
Right.
so it was like, oh, I got there thinking like, I'm a little undersized, but I'm quick, like 4.5 40
Hmm.
solid for a linebacker, and then I
Hmm.
watch a defensive end that's 6'5", 280, 290 run a 4.5 or 4.6 40, and I'm just like, oh, like this
Yeah.
is different, right?
Right.
Like,
Right.
so that you're right, that it is just a different level, and I was super honored to be able to like be a part of it. And I really, I mean, even though I was walking, I really did hold my own. Like, I unfortunately got hurt, but I feel like I had a good level of respect amongst the guys on the team, and
Yeah.
was in a good position for a scholarship after being there for a bit. And but yeah, it was a different level, especially from
Yeah.
the like single A private school in Georgia that I had
Hmm.
played before.
Dude, that's so cool. I mean, I know someone. He's older than me. He played wide receiver at Auburn, and
Oh, really,
he was just telling me about his process and his eating schedule. He had to eat like every 2 hours to,
dude?
and I mean,
Yeah,
he's like a 5'10" white guy, trying to be a receiver at an SEC school.
he's
So
there trying to do it now.
no, he did it. I think he's like 5 or 6 years older than me. I haven't talked to him in a while, but he
Okay,
worked at the church I went to.
how old are you?
28.
Okay, okay, cool. Maybe
Yeah.
we would have overlapped some, but we're probably about me and you are the same age. So,
Mm,
but yeah, no, that was a big thing too, and
yeah.
just the I was always on the weight gain train. Like I said, I was undersized, and yeah, it was different. Like we had a schedule. They called it Tiger Farm, and
Yeah.
if you were in Tiger Farm,
Yeah.
um, that's when they were really monitoring your weight, like trying to make you gain a certain amount. Every dinner, like after practice, we'd go to dinner and you'd have to go sit in a room with a coach, and each table had a coach at it. And I wasn't allowed to leave that table until I had finished 3 plates of food. So it
Oh,
was literally me and then, a couple other players and Coach Milky, who was one of our strength and conditioning coaches,
yeah.
sitting there, and you finish a play. He's like, all right, go get another one. And it's crazy just to think about every level of fitness and
Uh-huh.
nutrition. Like that was my job. Like
Yeah. Right.
and it was stressful. You go an hour and a half and be like, shoot, like, and you start thinking like, oh, I got to find some food, or like I'm going to be losing weight. Like that, it
Right.
was always on your mind. Honestly, it was wild.
That's a different mindset completely. I have a
Oh
tough
yeah,
time just eating regularly. I'm just like I'm so lazy. If I didn't have my wife, I would not be the man that I am for a lot of reasons,
bro.
and
Yeah.
but
Oh
uh,
yeah, 100%. Praise the Lord for that. Yeah,
praise the
that's
Lord,
awesome.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So did you go to ACC when you were at Auburn?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was, yeah. So do you know of that church,
Yeah, man. Miles is awesome. I love listening to his sermons. Um,
dude? Yeah, yeah. So ACC started. It was like my freshman year at school
mhm,
there. I didn't start going there until I think my sophomore year when because I was at a different church before that, and
mhm.
uh ended up moving over to ACC and loving it. Got to know Miles. I think there was like maybe 200 people there or
Yeah,
less when
right.
I started going to ACC, and it's expanded like crazy.
Oh,
And
crazy.
Um, a lot of churches do that; they expand, but
Mhm.
I think that like there's a good way and a bad way to do it, and I think that they're one of the good ones. I
Yeah,
really do.
for
Um,
sure.
yeah, no, that church is great. Miles is
Mm,
you know great and super anointed and human, and I like that about him.
yeah, 100%. I agree. My my wife went to Auburn, so I would come visit on the weekends, and we would. That's where we would go when we
Let's
would
go. And you
yeah.
is she's a little younger than you? You said.
Yeah, she's 2 years younger than me. But dude,
Okay,
I bet we know some of the same people. I
I would
like
think so. Yeah.
yeah. So all right. We can get into that offline. I don't want to name drop any
Yeah, yeah, we don't have to
individuals.
sit here and go, do you know so and
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
or yeah. We can
All
do
right.
that up.
Yeah, absolutely. So music. I you listen to your songs that are on Spotify and Riverhaven, um,
Yeah,
and I like "What's the Point" a lot. Good
thanks,
one.
bro.
So does Siren Song's good too. And then I saw you post your like unlisted SoundCloud link one time,
I
and so
did,
I
dude.
listened to those too. And what was it? Stalin. I like the vibes in that one.
Let's
Um,
go, dude.
yeah. So
That's a deep cut, bro. That's one that like that's kind of a crazy story too. I've had a couple different like opportunities in music in Nashville.
mhm,
Like when I moved here, I had a record deal, or I had a record label that I was chatting with, and
mhm.
was kind of doing some development stuff with, and super sad. The owner of that record label, it was really small. He like got cancer and died like three
Oh,
months later.
geez.
Um, Really, really crazy. And he was just an awesome guy. He was a really well known writer in the area as well. And, but unfortunately, when that happened, that record label, he was the label, like he was the runner of it. And it was pretty
Yeah.
new, and it just wasn't able to survive without him. And so
Yeah.
that kind of disappeared. Then, right before COVID, I signed a record deal, um, and had kind of those songs that I posted that link of. I had those ready
Hmm.
because I was going to do like a little 6 track EP.
Hmm.
Was going to try and write a few more, and uh, that company reached out and like, hey, like we want to sign you. Don't finish these songs yet. We want to give you money to like really do them well. And I
Oh,
was like, cool. So I kind of sat on them for a bit.
yeah.
That record label also put a bunch of other money into this like rapper who
Mm.
his music just flopped. And so
Oh,
all the investors saw how poorly that guy's music did, and they pulled out of the label. And so the
oh.
label was like, "Hey, we're going bankrupt. Sorry." And it was like in the middle of COVID, and I was like, "Well, dude, I just sat on these songs forever."
Hmm.
Um, and so that's what that list of songs is from. Is like that time where I was writing, kind of getting ready to do this label.
Hmm.
Then it was like on hold for forever because that's just how things go sometimes. And that's kind of where the Riverhaven stuff came from. Like
Hmm.
I during that time I was like, well, I got some time to really not write for anything specific, just write what I'm feeling right now. And
Hmm.
rock music was kind of the vibe that I was on, and
Yeah.
wanting to write more seemingly like meaningful stuff versus
Yeah.
just pop music. And
Hmm.
that's kind of where the Riverhaven stuff came from.
Dude, yeah. I liked Riverhaven, and I remember reaching out to you on Instagram one time, and it was like super random. It's kind of personal, but are you a believer? And you said, yeah. And it
Yeah,
was because like I just got that vibe from that music. It was more,
really cool.
yeah. I don't, it, so and the way that you hold yourself in your videos and all this stuff. So yeah.
Thanks,
But
man.
those songs are great. And
Thanks.
all of your songs on that private playlist are good. But I'm more into like a rock alternative. There's a friend
Yeah,
who is so
totally.
like I vibed more with the Riverhaven
Yeah,
songs. But that's cool that I mean, you've done so many things that I feel like people just
yeah.
like aspire to. Like you've worked with record labels, you do content creation full time now. That's just, I mean, you
Yeah,
took a untraditional path and it's working out for you, which is really cool to see.
thanks, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very untraditional. I can probably attribute some of it to just ADHD, and like I find something,
Yeah.
a new thing, and get obsessed with it, and I'm like
Yeah.
just diving into it, and but yeah, it is good, and even in all that, like just to be real on it, like the music stuff has been good, but honestly, like a lot of the music was a lot of letdowns, like a
Yeah.
lot of hurry up and wait, like
Yeah.
feeling like you finally got that one thing that's gonna really take it to the next level, and then just being
Hmm.
like, well, what just happened there? Like that company going bankrupt, or
Yeah.
having a song do you feel like really well, and then just kind of like stops, and you're like, what? Like,
Yeah.
so truthfully, like, yeah, I love music, and had a good amount of success there, but it really was a lot of you know, days of wondering like, what the heck, like, why is this
Yeah.
not working out, you know? And
Right.
um, which I think it's cool that the golf stuff has come out of it, like, because it really, the thing with the music that was always the biggest struggle for me, and I think a big part of this is because of my faith, but the hard part is like if I'm posting on my social media, like
Hmm.
that I'm releasing this song, you know, it's like I also got to have like 5 videos of me singing it
Hmm.
and me talking about this and this and this, and it all just felt so like hard to promote just the music and it not seem like self promotion,
Yeah.
right? So it's like you really want it, like if you're going to connect with people, then you got to have like this brand about you that
Yeah.
people really connect with. And it's like, dude, I
Right.
don't want me to be a brand, you know, I just
Right.
want to be me and
Yeah.
not have to worry about, uh, you know, building this aura around my person that
Mm.
makes the music do well. Like I just want to be me. I don't have to be posting a bunch of like selfies and crap. You know, like that
Yeah.
just wasn't
Sure.
my vibe. So I always wrestled with that. And what's cool about golf is like it's I really can see it as just a business, and it makes it like
Hmm.
emotionally and mentally so much easier because like whereas in music I might work really hard on the song,
Hmm.
post it, release it, and then if someone doesn't like the song, it was like soul crushing, right? Because I'm like, dude, I
Yeah.
put my heart and soul into this, and you saying
Right.
you hate this, you saying you hate me, you know, because I'm this brand or aura, and
Yeah.
that was like hard.
That
And
is hard.
but with Divot Dudes, it's like for some reason, like I think maybe just because it is a separate entity, and like I'm able to do it with a friend, Adam.
Hmm.
It's like we really can't see it as a business to where when I put even if I put a ton of hours into this video, I release it. If it doesn't do well, I'm like, cool, got another video coming in 2 days. You know, we'll do
Yeah.
another one. Like it doesn't feel like they're rejecting me.
Right.
Even in videos where I'm getting roasted for how bad I am like, off, you know, it's like
Yeah.
I really can just see it as like, whatever, it's a business. These people don't know me. They're not rejecting me. And then
Yeah.
when there is the people that do connect with me, it's like, cool, that's actually me. Like I'm just out there having a good time. If someone
Right.
connects with me, cool. I'm not putting on this brand or aura that you have to accept or deny. You know, does that make
Absolutely.
sense? I guess.
No, 100%. And I've seen so many things. Like I have a traditional, quote unquote, traditional job, and
Cool.
I mean, I don't mind working there. It's great. Good benefits and all those things that come with corporate America. But at the same time, everyone's talking about building a personal brand, and so that's what I kind of started trying to do with Finn Does Stuff and this phenomenal
Yeah.
podcast and things like that. But at the same time, like I don't want to be so, hey, look at me. Like,
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, no matter what happens with this brand that I'm building, uh, I still just want to be an average dude. I still
Yeah.
just want to be someone and do things that people relate to. So I totally understand where that's coming from. And,
Yeah.
um, but like, at the same time, it's still hard. Um,
Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah,
what
it was
was,
very hard. Growing any
yeah.
sort of business is hard work.
Right.
Yeah.
What's like the thing that you and Adam have done that you think has attributed the most to your success with that brand that you're building together?
Um, I mean, just overall, it's just kind of like you said a minute ago. If something doesn't do well, cool, go do the
Right.
next one.
Right.
You know, it's kind of just getting up and doing it, right? Like
Yeah.
for the last 2 years, we've had so many videos flop and some do
Hmm.
well, and just like the ability to be like, all right, I guess that wasn't it. Let's try another one, you know?
Yeah.
And that's it with a lot of things. I think
Hmm.
um, everyone says, you know, being consistent, but I think it's more than that. Like people will be like, "Oh, you just got to be consistent," you know, post every day,
Hmm.
and then it'll blow up eventually. Like kind of, but it's really not just consistency. It's like actually growing and learning
Yeah.
from those things. Because if you're consistently posting the same style of content,
Hmm.
the you know, if you're trying the same thing over and over again, expecting it to finally blow up, like that's
Yeah.
insanity. That's what
Right.
Einstein says. Like doing the same
Right.
thing over and over and expecting a different result, it's not going to happen. So like, yeah, it can be consistent, but consistently learn as you're being consistent. So it's like we
Yeah.
posted a ton of videos. We started out on TikTok. It was literally just me going every day and playing, 9 holes. I would post one of the holes and say some stupid stuff, and that was
Hmm.
it. And they would do like kind of okay, but never really were getting in that next threshold.
Yeah.
And so eventually we're like, well, what does this kind of video work? And you're throwing
Hmm.
it at the wall. And well, does this kind of video work? Like throwing it at the wall. And yes, no, maybe. So it's like, it's really can be consistent, but
Hmm.
consistently working hard, but also along that, like, try new things,
Yeah.
be growing and learning as you're consistently working hard.
Right.
Like, just
Do you think
because
that
a
you
lot of
can?
times people would say, go ahead.
Oh no, I was. You go ahead. It's fine.
Because that's what people would always say. Every video
Yeah.
you go to on YouTube or ask some successful person, like, oh, just be consistent, man, be consistent. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
I kept hearing that, and I'm like, it's not just be consistent because I'm posting the same videos consistently and nothing's happening. But
Yeah.
like, you gotta continue to grow and add things to your repertoire and all that, So yeah, it's
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I would say the difference is just consistently working hard and growing.
Right. Trying new things, seeing what works, what doesn't. But there are some things that
Mm-hmm.
you guys have been posting consistently because you've the video
Because they're
works.
working.
Right. So
Yeah.
like you think you can do that forever, or eventually you're going to need to iterate off of that into something else.
Yeah, I think like with anything in life, people get tired of something, right? Like,
Yeah. Right.
one thing that's cool about what we do is like, from a concept, a lot of our videos seem similar, right? Like we're
Mhm.
finding random people and challenging them, right?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
that's kind of a niche that we found for ourselves in the golf world.
Hmm.
And like from a concept, that's the same thing.
Yeah.
But in reality, like it plays out with it's a different person and a different personality every single video.
Right.
And so while a million people might have connected to, this random guy that we asked to do a video,
Hmm.
they connected to him and to us because of that guy's personality. Whereas the next one, like
Hmm.
for example, like maybe a couple weeks ago, we had 2 videos in the same week get around 1 million views,
Hmm.
and they were the driver videos. One guy is, a bald dude from Canada who has kind of a wonky looking swing, but is just super chill, super nice, and
Hmm.
it got 1 million views because people were like, "Hey, like this guy's super chill, and look, he hit his number. That's awesome."
Yeah.
Um, and they connected to like his persona of just being chill. The other
Hmm.
guy, super edgy looking guy, he's got tattoos on his neck,
Oh,
like
I saw that one.
uh yeah, he comes out, he's got a broken driver, like
Yeah.
smokes the ball 300 yards or something like that. It gets 1 million views too, and it's a whole different crowd of people that connect to that guy
Yeah, that's
than it
true.
was the other one, right? So it's like, while the concept is similar, it's like something that's cool about us is we're able to showcase a lot of different personalities and types of people to where pretty much any video we would post, some people are able to relate
Hmm.
on uh, on that front. So yeah, like we want to keep hammering those. At the same time, there is new. We want to try new concepts. Like we tried a somewhat new concept with these handicap video that we just did that
Hmm.
did really well, and we'll do some more of those. And as time goes on, yeah, you just kind of adapt and go with the ebbs and flows of
Yeah.
just how media works. But that is something that's cool. Is that every person's different.
That's a great point. Your videos, they're so funny. Like, some people are like kind of hesitant, and but some
Yeah,
people are like, oh, sure. Do you ever walk up to
yeah.
someone and they're like, no, I have no interest in. Uh,
Yeah, we do. And we've thought about like putting a compilation up with people being like, no, but really just want to respect those people. Like they said, and every video we're like, do you, every video we ask the question, do you want to be on camera? That's the first thing we say
right.
pretty much every time. Because like, yeah, like some people might not want to be on camera, and if you just
Right.
walk up and start asking people something, like
Yeah. Yeah.
they're not going to be comfortable. But if it starts with, that building that comfort, that, that's kind of
Mhm.
our goal there. And yeah, there's been plenty of people that we ask, like, do you want to do something on camera? And they're just like, oh, no, man, sorry. And
Mhm.
we're like, all right, all good. And we just walk away. And so there, it really hasn't happened that much.
Mhm.
Um, Um, we had one guy that we asked him. We were like, "You want to do something on camera?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." You could see he might have been a little shy, kind of maybe
Hmm.
a little hesitant. And I was like, "You sure? Like, you really don't have to. It's all good." And he was like, "No, man. Like, I'm down." I was like, "Okay, cool." We asked him, how far is your driver? He came and I think he said like 280 or something like that, 285.
Hmm.
And we were like, cool, man, you want to try it over here on camera? And he was like, yeah, tried it. And he hit it like 270 or 265 3 times and didn't get his number. And we
Hmm.
are like, oh, dude, all good, man. Like, we appreciate you trying. Obviously, we're always nice to everybody. But our
Yeah.
videos in titles sound pretty confrontational, but we're really not very confrontational.
Yeah.
We're really
Right.
wanting these people to
Well,
do
you got to have
well.
the
And
clickbait title.
yeah, kind of, So we really want these people to do well so we can give
Yeah.
away the stuff that we
Right.
want to give away. Like I don't want all these polos just laying around in my house. So, um, but we asked him. We asked that guy didn't hit his number,
Hmm.
and then afterwards, like, dude, like, all good, like, we appreciate you, like, we probably gave him some golf balls anyway, but then he was kind of just standing around still. So I was like trying to make small talk. He's like, so you playing, high school golf or anything? He's like, yeah. Like, yeah. I was like, cool. And he just like stood there, and we're like, okay, this is interesting. And then he was like, actually, like, can you guys not post that video? And we were just like, yeah, man, all good. Like, no worries. So that's the only time we've ever, and so it was interesting because it was like if he had to hit his number, he probably wouldn't have said that, right?
Right.
Um,
Right.
but that's kind of like the interesting part about this whole series is like people saying they hit one thing, and
Yeah.
that was the situation. We actually did. We actually did catch him just lying. Like
Right.
he really just didn't hit that number, and then he was like, "I don't want to get exposed like that." Even though if he had to hit the number, he probably wouldn't have said anything afterwards. But that was interesting. But yeah,
Yeah.
we have people turn us down
Yeah.
occasionally, but it's probably only happened like 3 or 4 times, honestly.
Yeah. That's fair. That's a funny story. I mean, I
Yeah,
you could go one of two ways. I could, if you walked up to someone, they could just be like, "Oh, I'm going to say some absolutely ridiculous number," and no, for sure,
yeah,
I'm not going to do it, and that would probably be
yeah,
funny.
yeah,
But then I'm sure most people are like prideful, and no matter how much I try not to swing to hit the ball as far as I can, I always end up doing it because at the end of the day,
yeah.
everyone wants to hit a big number.
Yeah,
So
why would you not hit farther when you can?
right,
Like,
for sure, definitely.
yeah.
Well, that's cool. Is Divot Dudes the only business and brand that you are invested in or like working on or
No, so I own a moving company as well, and that's kind of been uh the I mean that was a source of income for me and our
yeah.
family for a while.
Mm.
My wife owns a business now as well, and
Hmm.
that's been a huge blessing, especially during this time of growing Divot Dudes. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, so I own a moving company in Nashville. I opened it uh, in 2019, November 2019 in Nashville. So me and my older brother actually started the company when I was in college, maybe
Hmm.
in 2015. But it was kind of just always a side thing. But then in Nashville, when I moved here, the housing market was going crazy.
Yep.
I was working at a restaurant until like 2 a.m. every single day and was
Hmm.
like, this is the absolutely worst, like
Hmm.
apeist. And just through talking to my brother was like, hey, why don't we open a branch in Nashville of our moving company? Like, our housing market's exploding, everyone's saying. We're like, cool, like, let's pray about it. How much do you think you would need uh, in the bank account for us to kind of get started?
Hmm.
I had kind of an amount that we said, and uh, just kind of hand of the Lord. There was a guy that was a friend of a friend that was moving to Nashville from Athens, Georgia, which was not Athens, Georgia was where I grew up. That's where we had the other location in the moving
Mm.
company.
Yeah.
Um, and it just happened. He was like, dude, I'm getting hired at this spot in Nashville and they've given me a stipend of this much to move to Nashville. How would you feel about moving me? And I'll just give you that stipend regardless of what the price is. And I was like, yeah, that's actually after cost. It was like within $100 of the amount that I said
Dude.
we would need. Yeah, it was really cool. Um, and so yeah, that we did. I was like, cool, let's run it. We did that. We moved him to Nashville, and then I had rent paid for the next month, so I quit at the restaurant and I was like, all right, let's do this. We did the move. I was like, sweet, like I got paid, I got rent paid, and then I laid in bed after the day after the move. I was like, dude, I got to go get some more moves on the books.
Yeah.
And so then began the grind of growing a moving company in Nashville. And so that was, that was a lot. There was a lot of those nights where I was laying there in bed, like, okay, I got rent paid today, but I don't know what's gonna happen next month, and
Right.
just having to figure out how to grow a company. So I
Yeah.
still own that company. There's a lot that's kind of going on through then. But yeah, so yeah, I own a moving company as well. Yeah.
Dude, all over the place, man. That's super
Yeah,
cool.
dude. I know.
Did you finish your degree, your finance degree at Auburn?
I did, yeah. So I
Okay.
started doubling accounting and finance, and then after a semester of football and a double major, I was like, no shot. So
Right.
I just did finance.
Okay. Well, I'm sure that helps when it comes to running a business. My brothers and I also have a little side business. We tried to do a car detailing, mobile car detailing
Oh,
in
dude,
the
cool. Yeah,
Atlanta suburbs, but we're not doing. It's not like we have a couple reoccurring customers, and I think it
yeah,
helps put some money in their pocket, but it's not grown the way that we want it to. And I think it's just
yeah,
because I have so many other things I'm focused on. So it's cool.
yeah. No, totally get that. Yeah,
See,
that's sick though. Did y'all get like some equipment and stuff for that
yeah,
business?
yeah. So honestly, like the whole thing pays for itself now, which is cool. So
Yeah,
like, I mean, we're not spending any money out of our own pocket and whatnot. So we just need to get a new pressure washer, and the business was able to take care of that, which is it's cool. But we're getting to a point now where they need to. We either need to go like more all in and
yeah,
try to for them to be able to make a living doing that, or kind of like maybe shut the business down. They can keep doing the people that they're regulars kind of thing and make some money for themselves. But we're at that like crossroads right now.
yeah,
So
yeah,
um,
yeah.
running a
Totally get that,
running a business is hard. So seeing that you have
dude.
two
Yeah,
that are doing pretty well, that's great.
yeah. No, it is a grind, and thankfully, the moving company now, I've hired a
Mm,
girl. She's great. Her name's Johanna. She's great. She handles all the like incoming uh calls and
mm,
emails and
mm,
texts and everything on like the incoming side of the moving company, to where I don't have to be so like day to day now making sure, oh, this
yeah.
person needs to be moved next week. I need to make sure I get back to their email and get them on the books. Like she
Mm,
does, a lot of the scheduling and stuff of that. So more my focus with the moving company is more like uh hiring,
yeah.
marketing,
Yeah.
not a lot of marketing, but marketing and making sure like guys show up and
Right.
nobody like slaps a customer's kid or something like that,
Right. 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 Dang.
But yeah, but not that any of our movers have ever slapped any kids. It's just you
Uh,
never know. Just got to make
you
sure
never
that
know.
doesn't happen. Yeah, uh, but yeah, but the moving company is been a real blessing, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend starting a moving company. It's very stressful. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, you imagine like think so I compare the two like Divot Dudes, like
Mhm.
as one of our businesses, like a bad day in Divot Dudes, cool, a video doesn't do as well,
Mhm.
or maybe we accidentally deleted some footage. That's probably like the worst thing that can
Yeah. I've
happen.
done that
I mean, I
before.
guess you can get canceled or something, but I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, to delete some footage is probably the worst thing that can happen. You're
Mhm.
like, dang, now we got to film another video, or um, but then in the moving company, the worst thing that can happen is, like this family's got to move today. One of my movers decides not to show up, and
Mhm.
now this family is screwed because they have to be out of this house, and like
Yeah.
you borderline ruin, like they're under contract, they're gonna lose some escrow money, like you
Right.
borderline ruin this family's life for a period of time,
Right.
and or like a mover breaks his leg or wrecks a truck, and now you've got to massive insurance bill or someone sues you. Like no one's gonna sue Divot Dudes, right?
Right.
Like
Right.
so the bad day of a moving company is like really dang bad.
Oh yeah.
Whereas a bad day of a YouTube company is like, cool, turn your phone off and go enjoy your life.
Right.
So it's like,
Absolutely. Yeah.
so it's if I was starting a business, I wouldn't say get started in the moving industry,
Yeah.
but I am grateful for that business, and it was a grind. I worked every single move for like
Hmm.
2 years probably.
Right.
Um, and it's brutal. Like going from playing college football to that is like not good for your body. So like,
Sure.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
it's been a grind, but yeah, thankfully now I don't have to be as day to day with the moving company, and but
Hmm.
yeah, it's like you're saying, uh, you kind of got to decide at a point, do you want to go all in? And I think the moving company could be a lot more successful if I wasn't so focused on Divot Dudes. Like that's
Hmm.
really my passion right now is
Hmm.
growing that. But yeah, it's good. I'm thankful for it.
Yeah. I mean, but what I'm, again, like I like my corporate job, but I am jealous of the freedom that you and your wife have. And I'm not
Hmm.
like super jealous of the fact of where you guys go or all those things. You guys have gone to some pretty cool places recently
Hmm.
that I've seen, but seeing that you can just do that at any point in time,
Yeah.
that's what I want. My biggest dream in life is to get to a point where my wife and I can be like, yeah, sure, we can go to Europe for 2 weeks right now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
no other, I can manage things from my phone or my laptop while we're gone. We'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
And then once we have kids and stuff, it's like, yeah, you got a baseball game today? Absolutely. I'll be there,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Totally.
um,
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it is a huge blessing. A big part of that is my wife. Like, she
mhm,
has an awesome job too.
mhm,
She's a luxury travel agent. So she works in the travel world. So
yeah.
part of us traveling a lot is because she knows that world
Mhm,
really well. Has good connections at places to where
yeah.
we're able to like go to these super extravagant places that we wouldn't really be able to afford if it wasn't for her job. Like,
Yeah, sure.
um, so that's a big part of it too. But yeah, I mean that is the in my mind the main reason. I mean, there's a couple main reasons, but one of the main reasons for owning a business is like
Mhm,
I can be my own boss. Right?
yep.
Um,
Yep.
but I see both sides of that. Like someone
Yeah.
that works a corporate job, like if you're an accountant, you show up, you crunch your numbers from 9 to 5, or during tax season, maybe like 7 to 7. Um,
Maybe longer.
but then you leave and like you don't think about it when you get home, and you
Yeah.
can go home and be home with your family. And Saturday, you're off work,
Yeah.
and you can do whatever the frick you want, But like,
Yeah.
and if you're a business owner, like I said, like if mover slaps a kid,
Yeah. You're
like
dealing with that.
I got to show up and deal with that,
Yeah.
even if I was planning on going to the farmers market with my family.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's pros and cons, but I definitely prefer, for
Mhm,
me, the self employment route for
yeah.
sure, like you said.
Definitely pros and cons. I just, my biggest desire is my freedom of my time.
Hmm.
Where, and like you said, like some things happens and sometimes you get pulled away, but for the most part, um, something happens, a client needs something, and you're like, maybe not for the moving, but something else. You're just like, I can deal with that in an hour. I can,
Yeah,
so
yeah. And you can put things in place to where that's more reasonable. Like the more you grow, like
yeah, absolutely.
you can hire people to
Hmm.
be the oh crap guy that goes and
Yeah,
takes care of that stuff on a Saturday, so you don't have to leave your family. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, and the big thing is I love building things. It sounds like you do too.
yeah,
Just starting something from the ground up and
hmm,
watching it grow. It's really fun. Like it's part of being creative,
yeah.
um, and the business game is a fun game to play too. I think
Hmm.
so. Yeah, yeah, no, totally.
All right, what's your favorite place that you've been to? It sounds like our wives might get along too. My wife
Yeah,
loves to travel, and she plans all of our trips. And I've been telling her that she should start a side business to plan people's trips because she loves to do it so much. Um,
yeah. Well, I think my wife will be hiring sometime in the next couple of years. Maybe she wants to move to Nashville. But
All of her
um,
friends from Auburn moved to Nashville after they graduated, and we moved back to Atlanta. So
we probably know some of them then.
probably. Uh,
But favorite place? Um, that's hard. I try not to base everything around like the golf in these
yeah,
locations
I know.
because
I do
that's
the same
usually
thing.
like my yeah. Well, honestly, it's an easy answer. My favorite place out of the U.S. has been Italy so far. It's
Mm,
been, and truthfully, Rome. I know it sounds like everyone's like, "Oh, Rome, it's touristy," but like,
yeah,
I don't care. I loved it.
yeah,
The wine is awesome. The
yeah,
pasta is the best pasta I've ever had in my entire life.
yeah,
And I think it's really sick to like go walk around in the ruins and see the Colosseum and literally see what it looked like
yeah,
1,000 years ago. You know,
yeah.
like I think that's really dang cool.
Hmm.
So I don't care if it's touristy. Like Rome is my favorite.
Okay, cool.
Um, but um, yeah, I would say Rome was my favorite. Just as if I could just be like, man, I'd love to just go to this one spot every year and then kind of live on the street and like, as in not live on the street,
Oh,
live like in a cool street
yeah,
with
yeah,
like coffee shops and hanging
yeah,
around in the community. Like I would pick Rome.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's my quick answer for sure.
I mean, that's a good one. What parts of Italy did you go to? Just Rome, or?
So me personally, I have only been to Rome
Mm,
and then a little coastal town. I think
mm,
it's in the southeast coast. It's called Poliano Amare. It's
okay.
in Puglia, Puglia. It's a um, kind of like the island area down there, but
Hmm.
it's a really cool little beach town. It wasn't very touristy at the time. It may
Hmm.
be more so now, but just a really quaint, cool looking coastal town, like
Yeah,
right on the, I think it's Aegean Sea or something like that. But
cool.
really cool spot. That's the only two places I've been in Italy.
Nice.
My wife has been all over. She lived over there for probably a collective of a year and a half throughout her life so far. But
Wow.
um, yeah, so she knows Italy like the back of her hand. But
Yeah,
those are my two spots.
that's awesome. I've been to Venice and Verona. We went
Cool.
last
Yeah.
August. Those are the only places in Italy I've been to. But my wife's
Yeah.
favorite
Did you
spot
like
is
them a lot?
Venice. Was cool. It was the first European city I had ever been to. Like, so I'd never
Okay.
crossed the Atlantic Ocean until last August, and so Venice, you've seen it in the movies. It's like everyone talks about Venice. So I was like, that's where I want to go. I want to go there.
Yeah.
Um, I hate doing the actual planning of like the trip, but so
Same,
we
dude.
kind of compromised on being like, hey, I want to go to these places. Now you find everything to do once we get there.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so we went to Venice because I thought it was cool. Everyone talks about it, and it was cool. Like it was super cool. The whole place is floating. You know, like
Yeah.
it's crazy. But it was I was still getting acclimated, my first time ever across the Atlantic. So I
Uh
feel like
huh.
the experience could have been better because I was just kind of anxious and like I didn't know what to expect and everything. But then once I mellowed out, like I really enjoyed the rest of the trip. But
Yeah.
we ended up going from there to Slovenia, and then all
Cool.
around Slovenia. Slovenia is a really small country, beautiful, beautiful
Yeah.
country. If you guys haven't gone, you should go. Um,
I haven't been yet, but Emily's been. But
okay.
yeah, I'd love to visit.
Yeah, Lake Bled is like one of the most beautiful places I've been to. And
Man,
then
that's
we went
cool.
to Croatia and Dubrovnik.
Okay.
Dubrovnik is my easy answer, my favorite place
Really
I've ever been. Like, just
cool. And what's the vibe of that place? Is it like mountain, coastal,
it's
country?
coast.
What's kind of
Did
the
you
vibe?
watch Game of Thrones?
I haven't seen, but like an episode.
Okay, well, it's they filmed Game of Thrones like King's Landing. That's where they filmed it.
Cool.
So it's like coastal, but I mean, it's kind of on the side of a mountain at the same time. So
Cool.
super
That
nice
sounds
people.
dope.
Yes, it was awesome. So
That's really cool. I'd love to check that out.
it's
I know Emily has been, but
uh,
yeah, I need to add that to a list then.
there you go. And you guys are, I mean, she travels for her job, so you're expecting a child, which is cool, and you're planning to
Yeah.
still travel with while carrying and with the child.
That's the plan. We've been traveling a lot already with
Yeah,
her carrying. We were in Europe about the last month, but um, and she's done great.
yeah,
The last, well, we've blocked off pretty much all of June and July to just be here in
yeah,
Nashville
yeah,
because she's due in July and
hmm,
just for safety reasons.
yeah, sure.
Um, but that's kind of the plan. Something Emily's passionate about is
Hmm.
uh, just kind of still doing stuff. Don't let the baby come and you're like, oh, we can't do anything anymore. We have a baby.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not our vibe, And
yeah,
people were the same way about marriage. They're like, oh, you get married and then you just don't do anything anymore. And it's
yeah.
like, well, maybe y'all just don't do anything. Like,
Right.
because we still have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, and when the baby actually comes, we'll see, we'll adjust how we need to, but
Mhm.
our plan is to keep living life. And
That's great.
um, I personally think one of the worst things you can do for a kid is let your world revolve around them. Like,
Yeah.
'cause if a kid grows up thinking the world revolves around them, it's going to be a really rude awakening when they turn 18 and they kick them out. Like,
Yeah.
I ain't about that. I'm trying to raise adults, not kids. So,
Absolutely.
um, yeah. So I don't. Our plan is for our life not to revolve around our kid. For us to keep living, and I think it'll work out better for the kid that way. But we'll see when that kid turns 18 how it's feeling. But I don't know.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. I mean, we've been talking about it. I don't know when we're gonna start, but I'm excited for you. It's a cool season of life that you're entering into, and it sounds like we're on the same wavelength with a lot of things that we think
Yeah,
about. One of the best advice. I'm
definitely.
not a dad, not even expecting, but one of the best pieces of advice I think I've heard so far is to always put your marriage before your children,
Yeah,
because and I think that's kind of what you're saying. Like, put your life and your marriage and everything before the
yeah,
kids. So, you know,
absolutely.
I'm not there yet, but I want to implement that and always put Josie first. And well,
Hmm.
God, Josie, kids, and then everything else seems to fall in place. So, um, I mean,
Yeah, totally agree.
dude, you are an interesting guy. You're just all over the place, and I love it. I love
Thanks, bro.
uh, it's cool. I've really enjoyed talking to you. I have one final question for you
All right.
before we leave, and it's if you're gonna ever follow me back on Instagram. Uh,
Have I not followed you back on
no, no,
Instagram, dude?
no, dude.
Bro, that's my bad. I
It's
will right now. I guess we
it's
talked so much, I assumed I
yeah.
did.
I'm that
All right.
guy. I'm that guy that I'm just like, dude, I reply to everyone's stories. I comment on everyone's posts, and you're the
I'm
only
the
one that
exact same way.
interacts with me. It's so funny that you mentioned Evan Thompson because I literally reply to almost every single one of his stories, and he's never once acknowledged it. Um, but
Dang, that's all.
it's
It's all good.
yeah, I know
It's part.
he
One
lives.
thing too, like
Uh,
he definitely is like we're a golf. I would say we're a golf company. Like we are. It's structured very business like. Like we're making entertaining videos. That's our
yeah.
focus. Evan's more of like like an influencer, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
he probably gets like a bunch more
Oh yeah.
crazy DMs than we do. So
Yeah.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that. He seems like a super nice guy. I'm
Yeah.
excited to hang out with him next week.
I've heard that. I know someone at my church who played football at Kennesaw and knew him as well.
Oh,
And
cool.
he said he had just great things to say about him. So
Where you guys go to church in Atlanta?
so we go to Mount Perrin North, and it's like pretty close to where we live. Great community, and so
Is it associated with the high school Mount Perrin?
they used to be. So there's Mount Perrin like in Atlanta. Then there's Mount Perrin North in the suburbs, and then Mount Perrin Christian School, and they all
Yeah,
used to be affiliated with each other, and now they're all individual.
gotcha,
So they're all their own entities. Um,
gotcha.
but
I used to play Mount Perrin High School in a lot of sports in high school. So,
oh,
but
nice.
yeah,
I knew people that
that was
went
a good
there.
time.
So yeah,
You ever met anyone from Prince Avenue?
no,
Yeah,
mm,
it's a good school in Athens. Good
nice.
spot.
I'm surprised that you guys all live in Athens and you were such big Auburn fans.
Yeah, like I said, my parents went to Auburn
Mhm.
and granddad went to Auburn. My we moved to Athens. I'm one of 5 kids. We moved to Athens when I was 5, I think.
Hmm.
And my dad, he's a pastor there, and so
Oh,
he
cool.
got hired as a pastor at a church, and it's at Watkinsville, Georgia. It's like right on the line of Athens, and so he's been a pastor there since I was 5, and so that's kind of how we ended up in the heart of Bulldog territory.
Yeah.
Um, which that's how me and Adam met. We went to, oops, sorry, we went to middle school together, and
Mm,
so he's a Bama fan, and when he sees this,
yeah.
uh, I hope he sees this part, but yeah, he's a Bama fan. He hasn't always been a Bama fan though. He likes to claim that he grew up a Bama fan a little bit because of his granddad or something, but no, that dude was diehard Bulldog until
Yeah.
he went to
So
Bama.
he
But
went to
he
Bama.
he is a legit Bama fan now. He's devoted and like he follows it closer than anyone I know. And he went there for 4 years, so it's valid that he is a Bama
Yeah.
fan now. But I will say
No,
he was a Bulldog fan growing up.
that's
Um,
awesome. I love that you just threw him under the bus. I actually saw his story. He was at a Georgia baseball game the other day. So like he's still,
Oh, so he lives in Athens right now.
yeah,
Um, and so yeah, he still does stuff like that, and he still likes Georgia. Like his
yeah.
dad worked for, he like basically ran UGA's marketing department for a lot of years. So
Wow, that's cool.
he still loves Georgia, but I think
Yeah,
just the rivalry there is fun.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
everybody
Absolutely.
picks on everybody about it,
And now your
but yeah.
rivalry between the two of you, that's a bigger rivalry than Alabama Georgia. But
In my opinion, it's the best and biggest rivalry in college football.
yeah,
The Georgia, well, the Georgia Auburn and then Auburn Bama are
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
they're pretty sick. Like
yeah,
they're good games,
yeah,
but I think yeah they're great. Me and Adam have a rivalry and it's fun. I think it comes into play a lot. This handicap we just did another handicap video with
mm,
a guy. And that guy turned out to be a former Alabama baseball player, and so it came up a lot.
oh,
Them picking
oh,
on me about
I'm
Auburn, so
sure.
that one will be fun. But yeah, no, it's a good time.
Oh, I got one last thing actually. I
I'm good
l-
on time, so however long you want
well,
this to take, we're
I
good.
love how many people don't realize some of those videos where you snapped his club, you snapped Adam's club or something like that, and like or like you
Yeah,
guys like act like you don't know each other. So many people
yeah,
comment on the videos and things like that and like just start raging, and it's
so
so
funny,
funny to
bro.
me that people like don't realize that like you guys are literally all you have to do is click on, no one does this, but all you have to do is just click on the profile and realize that like, oh, these two
And
don't
see
know.
we're in every video.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's funny, dude. And that's the thing about social media. Why you really just can't like let things ever get to you,
yeah,
especially in comments, because on one hand they legit just don't know. They don't have the time to like go and see like, oh, we're in every video. They don't really care to
yeah,
investigate. And then two, like especially in short form, like
yeah,
they're not going to remember. Like they comment on that video and then they watch 100 more videos on TikTok. They don't remember that one video that they were like mad about,
yeah.
like so it's just not a big deal. But yeah, no, that always kills me.
Oh, dude,
And
that's,
then
that's
we
so
play
funny.
into it. Obviously,
Yeah.
like we did that video on purpose, and it is funny when people rage like that. It's so funny.
Yeah, the social media, it's so good and for so many things, and then it's just so toxic for so many other things. Um,
Right? Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
do you? I guess this is another good question is how do you unplug yourself sometimes? Um,
Um. So that's definitely something I need to get better at.
mhm,
Um. I emotionally think I unplug myself pretty well.
mhm.
And something that's nice about this is I do have Adam. Like, sorry, but oh,
Bless you.
excuse me. All right,
I like the dab
excuse me.
in that one.
Yeah, got you. Um, it's nice having Adam in this because then if I do get emotional about something, I can just like go to him with it,
Yeah.
and then he's like, "Oh, this is really affecting you, isn't it?" Huh? And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, you're right. I didn't get over it." So
Sure.
that's nice to have that and the same thing will happen for him too. But yeah, the unplugging is more so just like literally just that put your phone up and
Yeah.
go for a walk with your wife,
Yeah.
or go get coffee.
Yeah.
Um, since I've done all of our editing for the most part,
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of unplugged time too. I'm not on social media when I'm doing that. I'm locked in, and so
Yeah.
it's like that feels kind of cut out from the world. But
Mm-hmm.
the main thing is just like trying to start my day with time with the Lord,
Mm-hmm.
and in prayer, and not you know
Mm-hmm.
to where I'm not going to my job in the world looking for something. It's
Yeah.
more like I have this, now I'm gonna go out to that.
Right.
Um,
That's so good.
yeah.
I'm not very very big. I mean, I'm almost at 1,600 followers on Instagram now, and it was really because of one video that I made at the PGA show.
Oh,
Uh,
that's awesome.
and I got 1,200 followers from it. But like for a little bit, like I was getting like 20 followers a day. It has like 5,000 likes on it. This is chump change for y'all, but I was just so exciting, and I just kept opening my phone and like checking it and like
Yeah.
scrolling and all these
Yeah.
things. And so it's tough. Like
I know how
it's
that
an
goes, dude.
addiction. Um,
Yeah.
and so
Dude, yeah, it's very true. Yeah, you like, I mean, we're guilty of it too. I've
mhm,
gotten better, and probably just more used to it now.
right.
Whereas the first time our videos start doing well, you're checking every time, and
Hmm.
just like that. It's the same thing as like Vegas, and they'll tell you this. Like
Hmm.
there's a reason they put the little tickers on there, is because it gives you that dopamine hit,
Yeah.
just like slot machines in Vegas. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just something to, I think, be aware of, and keep it in its place, not let that be something that fuels you, because then when videos don't do well and then
Hmm.
you don't get that dopamine hit, then you're like in the dumps.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're very right. That's like,
Yeah.
it's hard not to do that, because it is really emotionally rewarding. But
Hmm.
if that's what you're looking for out of this, like,
Right.
it's going to be a tough time for you a lot
A
of the
hundred
time.
percent, man. 100%. Um, if you guys could collab with anybody in this space who I don't want to, not alienating anybody, but like you're like want to do it so badly, you got a top number one. Who would it be?
um, Anybody in like the YouTube golf space, or just in
Sure.
anybody that kind of golfs,
Let's do
or
YouTube, and then like, you could do like anybody that golfs.
um, it would be just really fun
Hmm.
to be in like a good video.
Yeah.
And obviously we're friends with a lot of those guys now.
Hmm.
Um, but it would be fun, just because that's kind of the first people we started watching when we started
Yeah.
this thing.
Yeah.
It is different now that we're friends with them, and it's like,
Hmm.
it's everybody, you just kind of see them as, you're like, oh, everyone's literally just human beings, and they
Yeah.
all got their own crap, and
Right. Right. Right.
so with that being said, but it would just be fun to
Hmm.
be in a good video. Um, um, Anybody in the like, my dream person to have in a video would be Justin Timberlake.
Oh, well, there you
Which is
go.
funny because you mentioned that earlier. Yeah.
I got to
Just
clip that
because
together.
it is crazy. I love his music.
Yeah.
His 2020 album that he released when I was in high school,
Hmm.
like, one of the first times that I like would turn an album on and like really feel it.
Hmm.
I've always been a big feeler of music. I guess, I mean, I used to be Neo and feel like that one was growing up, Chris Brown, Usher, but like
Yeah.
his album, 2020 album, was the first time I like played the frick out of an album. Like
Hmm.
every single song on the album was like 10 minutes long, and I listened to every single one a million times. So
Wow.
that him being in the golf world, being like kind of the icon that he is,
Hmm.
and having that musical effect on me as well, it would be sick to just hang out for 18 holes and film some stuff. That
Hey,
would
man.
be the dream.
I hope that happens now. I,
Me too, bro. I mean, it's like he's so close. I know where his house is in Tennessee, but it's like you
that's not
you just
creepy.
kind of got to make that connection. Just has to happen somehow.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, I hope that for you. Maybe this was a God thing. I just brought it up, and then now that's your thing.
That'd be
Uh,
awesome. JT, hit me up, dude.
hit
Let's
me up.
freaking
Hit Connor up.
let's 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 test that handicap out. See what you got, bro.
Dude, I've seen his swing. He looks pretty good.
He looks dialed. That's what I'm saying. It'd be a good time. It wouldn't just
Yeah.
be like you got LeBron on the golf course. He can't
Yeah.
hit a ball, but you're hanging out with LeBron. It'd be cool. You
Right.
get the dude actually golfs,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he's hanging. It'd be fun. Cool.
That's
That'd be
cool.
great.
Was oh, I mean, you played golf on live TV, and
Yeah,
that's cool that we didn't I forgot to touch on that. So,
yeah.
how was that? The good desert
The
open.
Desert Open. It was fun, dude. It
Yeah.
was just really fun. I
Hmm.
mean, it's pretty much that's the only way I can describe it. It was really cool. Like so many people there watching.
Yeah.
Um, I expected no one to really be there to care for us, but it
Hmm.
was just really cool to have people actually there and being like,
Yeah.
"Yo, Divot Dudes," like asking for autographs and pictures and stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's really really cool.
That is cool.
And I didn't hosel any balls in anybody's face, so
That's even better.
I was happy with how I played, so that was good too. But yeah, that was it was just a really really cool experience and a cool moment for me and Adam too. Like I
Yeah.
kind of said a minute ago, to be like, dude, when we started this, like we were just watching some YouTube videos and a lot of them good, and like how the heck are we playing in this thing right now?
Yeah.
It was cool.
That is
Um,
cool.
yeah, it was fun.
Dude, insane. And like, I mean, it looks like you became friends with Ben Haddon.
Oh yeah, Ben's a
So
G. He's a good buddy of ours now.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we initially met last year at the first tournament Good put on. That was like the pro tournament thing.
Hmm.
But
Oh yeah.
yeah, we've definitely gotten more connected over the last 6 months to where now me and him will chat once a week probably.
That's cool, man.
But yeah, he's great. Really, really dang good golfer.
Yeah.
He's a beast.
I saw Ben's Instagram. It was like last year or 2 year ago when he started posting every day, like talking about his golf journey and stuff like that.
Uh huh.
I
Yep.
really just appreciated how like open he was about that
Yep.
and the journey that he was on. So it was cool to see him get
Yep.
plugged in with good and then
100%.
move on to his own thing. So it's cool to see you
Yep.
guys plugged in with him now and
Yeah,
probably
dude.
maybe Mac soon.
Maybe, yeah. We chatted some
Mhm.
through DMs and stuff.
Okay.
We've never had anything like actually come to fruition, but he seems like a really awesome dude. Him and Ben are great friends, so
Yeah.
um, yeah, I'm sure it'll happen eventually. It'd
Dude,
be awesome.
yeah. I mean, like, I don't know how many people are still tuned in because we did get more into golf, but it's as a small business owner, like it's just so cool to see the work and the fruition or the work that you've put in, and now seeing all of it to come to fruition and everything. And I'm just
Yeah,
super
dude.
super proud of y'all. Like, I don't know you
Thank
that
you, man.
well, but I'm just proud of you two guys chasing a dream and working hard at it, and it's paying off. So yeah.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's been a lot of fun so far, and
Mm.
we're not like obviously we haven't like I don't know, in my mind we haven't like made it yet.
Yeah, no,
I feel like we are um we're making it happen, and there's a ton of room to grow that I'm really excited about. And I
yeah.
feel like we're in a good spot. But yeah, through all of it, like yeah, I'm working my butt off. I'm editing a lot.
Hmm.
Adam's working a lot.
Hmm.
We're making sacrifices for it, but at the end of the day, like the coolest part of it is like getting to meet more people
Yeah.
and hopefully have an impact on those people. And um, yeah, it's been cool just like getting to be a light in any area that I can. And
Yeah.
it is cool when that helps business too, right? Like
Hmm.
becoming friends with guys like Ben, just a great dude.
Hmm.
And it is cool when their interests are very similar to yours.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it just seems to me like a just a gift from the Lord to get to love on people in every sphere of the YouTube golf world.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun, man.
I mean, yeah, I wish you guys the best as you continue to grow. Obviously, like, I don't know if you'll ever consider it that you've made it, but I think every step along the way, you
Yeah,
make it to another checkpoint, and
yeah,
you guys are able to start hiring editors to help you out, which is, I mean, I think that's a huge checkpoint that you've reached in the
definitely.
business, and um, I mean, just I don't know. It gives me hope that something can take off for me too, and I'm sure it gives everybody who's listening hope. Just you know, you can do it. You just you gotta know that it's gonna take hard work, and you're gonna have to make
Yeah,
sacrifices and things like that. So it's a good thing that you.
100%. 100%. I think most things that are of value are
Mm-hmm.
hard to do, I would think. So,
Absolutely.
uh,
You got anything you
yeah,
want to
dude.
plug before we actually officially wrap up?
Oh man, I don't think so. Hit subscribe and follow the phenomenal podcast.
Oh,
I think
thanks,
this
man.
is legit.
Thanks, man.
But yeah, dude, I'm honored that you would ask me to do this. I don't think there's anything special about me that I um can that is of that much value to people. I think, but I'm honored that you would take the time to ask me to do this and be interested in what we've got going on, and
Mm-hmm.
it's been really fun. So yeah, hit subscribe to Phenomenal Podcast, and yeah, check our stuff out too if you haven't seen it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, just yeah,
Sure.
enjoy life, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool. I want to speak some life into what you said. Like you say you're not anything special, and I think like that's what makes this special. It's like we're just a couple average guys, and I think that's important that people can know that like you don't need to be an influencer or
Yeah,
a celebrity or anything like that to do special things in the world and to get to where you
yeah,
want to go in life. And so that's a big premise of the Phenomenal Podcast is, hey, I'm just talking to people that I know and that I meet along the way through life. And, we're all special in our own way and we do bring value to the world.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
love that you said that because it's something that I've just been trying to highlight. It's like, hey,
yeah.
we all can offer something else to anybody who's listening, So
Definitely, dude.
yeah,
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I'm grateful for a lot of those people that have cared enough to kind of speak their knowledge on things. And
absolutely.
yeah, dude, that's good work. I love it, man.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you having me
Of
do
course.
this. This is awesome.
You're welcome. I appreciate you coming on. If you haven't followed the Divot Dudes and you want to, it's divotdudes.golf, I think, or
That sounds right.
yeah,
Yeah, on Instagram and stuff.
Instagram.
Yeah,
Yeah. So if you guys do that, and then Isaiah Connor on Instagram and pretty much everywhere, if you want to follow him personally. So thank you so much for listening. It's been a great pleasure. And like you said, hit that subscribe button because it helps a lot and send it to a friend. Thank y'all.
absolutely.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode. Your support means the world to me. If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure to follow on whatever platform you're listening on and send it to a friend. If you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, leaving a review really helps boost my exposure. If you're on YouTube, make sure that you're subscribed and liking every video. It really helps the algorithm. Links to all my and my guest socials, along with music credits, are in the show notes. I love y'all. Love, Finn.